Hello, welcome, and if you know me, you'll know I've got a thing about air filters. Ah, yes, air filters. Great for cleaning small particles from the atmosphere around us. And in our home, we've got 4. We've got a big Lavoie, we've got 2 smaller Mickey square ones, which are really good for the money. And then we've got this one, the Afloia. Now the Afloia, I'm not quite certain how you pronounce that, is quite a nice little thing, but we just removed it from the bedroom for which it was in, because we replaced it. We're still going to use it, but I feel it's only fair to share with you guys, being I've done a video about this before, about this particular air filter before, and I think it's only fair to say, well, maybe I should sort of like express my feelings about it, maybe. Express my feelings. Now, this particular air filter was quite good, but quite soon it started getting a bit noisy. It wasn't the quietest of filters. So if I plug it in, you should be able to hear it. Let's turn it on. Remember, I haven't cleaned it out yet, so that might make a difference once we've done that. Now, if it's in your bedroom, for instance, it makes a bit of a rattle. Do you hear that? Now that might not be that apparent at the moment, but it seems to change. It's not always the same. Sometimes it's louder than other times, which is quite annoying, to say the least. So I would say that the actual bearings in the filter in this unit are starting to give up the ghost. You know, they're not so, not so, well, good as they were before. The machine still works, still does its job, but I wouldn't necessarily put it in a bedroom. You can put it onto night mode because you've got the 3 settings on here, so you can have it on for so many hours, 2 hours, 4 hours or 8 hours, and then it turns off, You put it on in the morning, leave it on all day. Because obviously you've got a bed, you rustled all your sheets and quilt and what have you about, and then the dust is in the air. Which needs to say, let's get that level. What's going on here? That's all wonky. Why are you all wonky? So needless to say, all that dust is in the air, and that's what this thing's quite good for, is actually moving that dust out of the air. So it's all dead skin cells and shit like that. Stuff like that, sorry. That's my French. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off, and we're going to clean it out and see if it makes it any better. But that's definitely noisy. That's noisy it should be, but our other ones don't make nowhere near that amount of noise. So on this machine here, we have this. It's the cover for the canister or cylinder air filter. Now we did put an extra filter around it, as you can see, which I made out of a piece of old cook hood filter. It's gone a bit funny now, but if you look at that old bit of activated carbon, cook hood filter, activated carbon cooking hood filter, which you can get for like a couple of quid, couple of dollars. Certainly helps the actual main filter, because you don't want constantly buying and paying for these things, do you? Change them every 6 months because they cost you money. They're not cheap. So it's a good idea to try and protect the original filter with the pre-filter, and as you can see, it certainly works. Look at the state of that. A bit fluffy, isn't it? Now, as we look inside, you can see there's remnants of dust and that fluff all the way around the edges. Oh, it's coming to the edge, anyway. And then when you look on the top, you can see the dust that's actually getting past the filter. So that's obviously very fine dust. It's going to be about 1 micron or also 1-2 microns, because these things filter down to about 3 microns. So anything smaller than that is going to possibly go past. So what we need to do is then, to clean this, the first thing I'm going to do is just vac out. And I'm going to use my shop vac. I'm in the workshop here, so if any dust gets in the atmosphere in here, I'll use the other air filters I've got in this workshop to actually capture that dust. But if you're doing it, put a mask on. Very important, really. I'm not putting a mask on because I'm trying to obviously do this video. So let's turn the old shop vac on. Obviously, any vacuum cleaner will do the job. You can do it in situ if you want. But first of all, before I go mad, I'm going to get rid of the worst of the dust using the vac. all these little holes are clear. You know, they're hot, aren't they? These look dusty, they'll be hot. That's not much good. And then inside as well, look at that. Hey, while you're here, go and click like and subscribe, will you? And maybe the little bell icon, because then you get a warm fuzzy feeling in your pocket, and that'll be me uploading another video. Anyway, so we'll suck the worst of the dust off this pre-filter first. I know it's a bit fluffy, but it don't matter, it still does the job. Protecting the other filter a little bit, or quite a bit actually. I could do replacing it really, quite easy to do. All I did was wrap it around it and then use a bit of hot melt glue to actually join it. And we'll pull it back a little bit, and now I'm going to use an airline. If you haven't got an airline, don't worry, just use a vac. Get the 3 knocks outside and what have you, not the unit but the filter, and you'll find a lot of the old dust will fall out. But I'm going to use airline because I've got one. And remember, if you're doing this, make sure you're wearing a mask. So I'll do that, and then I'm going to do the inside of the unit. I'll do that. So now what we can do is now we can actually put the filter back inside. Now the actual filter itself, not filter, the actual, so the fan in there is a turbine kind of fan. It's mounted in a horizontal plane because generally speaking they're quieter, but this one is not. Now I'm asking myself, is it because the actual unit has got muck around the turbine? See, that's a possibility, but I doubt it. There's not enough debris at the top here for me to assume that the actual filter, the actual fan blades are going to be in a bit of a bad state. So I just think it's actually got to a point where it's well, they're a bit worn. The bearings are worn. Whether they're replaceable or whether I've got to replace the motor, I don't know. Maybe one day we'll have a look and see what it's like. But at the moment it isn't that bad. We're going to put it somewhere where the noise is not an issue. So we've got a new one for the bedroom, which I'm about to do an unboxing of and a quick demonstration. But for this one, we're just going to leave it at that. Right, that goes down. It's quite difficult to get in. Why isn't it going down? It's probably my little hairy filter. So it's actually seating flat, and it is now. That's good. Let's make sure those bits are in. Right, that's back on. Hopefully it's going to be a little bit quieter, but we'll see. Let's plug it back in. Now if you want my recommendation, and you see these come up on Amazon, you'll see there's a lot of filters on there that look virtually identical to this with different names, like Hanofi and various other brand names. Well, they're just rebadged versions of the same thing, so bear that in mind. It's the world we live in. I can still hear the actual motor a little bit, still rattling a little bit. But anyway, that's how you clean out the old filter, and also, anyway, let's quickly go through these controls. That's a good idea, just so you know if you are considering getting one. Basically, you've got the on-off switch in the middle here. You've got your timer on the right, and then you've got your fan speed on the left. Now, if you use the fan speed, it's manual. If you use the timer, what happens is it comes on for a certain period of time at that fan speed. So let's say, for instance, I want it on 1, which is the low, or 1, and it'll just run at that all the time for 2 hours, 4 hours, or 8 hours, or if you just put it on, it'll stay on like so. And then you've got your lights, so there's some lights you can put on there as well, which are quite nice. So you've got like a little night light. So yeah, on the whole, it's quite good. So you got medium speed, and then you got high speed. It works, and it certainly filters the air, which is obviously what you want it for. But bear in mind, it's not as quiet as the Levoart LV132. Sorry, LVH132, which is about this sort of size, similar sort of room size it can cope with, or the bigger one, which we've also got, which should be Levoart LVH133, and that's it's a much taller unit, round. It looks quite cool actually, and that has automatic settings on it and all sorts. I don't know if this has got auto on it. No, I don't think it has. It's got a auto sensor thing in the back here, but I don't think actually that is actually working on this particular type of machine. I think it's just the same car, so maybe they do an auto version of it. Anyway, thank you for watching my little video on the Afloia air filter. It's not a bad little unit, but this is really just trying to demonstrate to you that the machine itself can get a little bit on the noisy side. I'm not going to say it's all of them, but this particular one, there's a bit of a rattle going on with the motor and fan unit now, where it wasn't when we first got it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Oh yeah, don't forget, like and subscribe! Click the little bell icon!